You see, people don't want to ask for help because they're afraid nobody's going to listen to them, or they might get embarrassed or something.
I feel like I live for my kids. I think that they're so important to us, and everything I do, I try to do for my kids and what's the best for my kids. And every decision I make is, how will this be good for my children and how will they grow from this? I think we always knew he was a little unique, but we didn't really know exactly what that meant. He just had his own little quirks that I was like, oh, he's just his own unique little guy, and that's okay. And he was really smart. Like, he knew his letters and numbers at a really early age, and yet he struggled with other areas. So it was like, how's this all gonna fit? And some of his language was a little bit delayed, and there were just little things that were kind of hints, but I really didn't know. And I just sort of thought, oh, well, eventually he'll get there, he'll go to kindergarten, he'll be fine.
It appeared that this, in every way, he looks and acts like every other kid in so many ways, and he has a high intelligence level. However, his ability to cope in his classroom, I think one of the specialists that he had seen said, just the 20 kids in a classroom with the smell of glue and lunches and all the different things that are in a classroom, and the noise would be similar to us at the West Edmonton Mall 3 days before Christmas. That's how he would experience it. And so he would be quite anxious at school.
When he was 6, he was diagnosed with ADHD, sensory processing disorder, anxiety, and a verbal-based learning disability.
I just feel different somehow. I definitely have sensory processing disorder, so a lot of things are a little more sensitive. Okay, so I'm gonna say all of them that I have, if you don't mind.
No, let's hear
So
it.
difficulty handling transitions, shifting from one mindset or task to difficulty another. Doing things in a logical sequence or prescribed order. Difficulty persisting on challenging or tedious tasks. Poor sense of time. Difficulty maintaining focus. Difficulty considering the likely outcomes or consequences of actions. Difficulty managing emotional response to frustrations so chronic irritability and or anxiety significantly impede capacity for problem solving or heightened frustration. Black and white difficulty handling ambiguity, uncertainty, novelty.
So I think for Jordy, when he was overwhelmed, overstimulated, his cognitive brain just shut right off. And so it was kind of like survival brain mode. And I think for Jordy, that's when he really didn't have the skills to do any better than to just get out of there or hit or drop, because his only survival brain was kicking in, and
fight or flight,
definitely.
Fight.
And
I said, the harder you tried to be stern or to resist, cause resistance, the harder he fought back, which was the opposite of what you needed.
I wanted to kill myself when I was 6 and 7. Isn't that crazy?
I think when he was saying, I want to kill myself, it was because he didn't have any other little coping skills to know how to deal with all the things that he was going through, all the emotions, all the challenges. And so killing himself was that thought. And I think talking through things and really building that connection with him was super important, because that's how we've gotten to where we are, is the communication, the trust, and just really listening to him and not judging him, or just being there for him. He got to the point where like OCD and worries were like taking over, and he cut out almost all food. He was eating like maybe 3 things. And so that was really, really scary. And I remember the one time we were at the lake and Jordy didn't eat anything like all day, and he was getting so skinny. And I remember thinking like, I don't know what to do. and that I couldn't help him, and I felt really helpless. And I remember just crying and just feeling so helpless. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
And
you're, like you said, at wit's end, like didn't.
Yeah, I remember saying to Lee,
and
like,
I couldn't help.
I remember like, I'm just gonna start walking into the woods. I just didn't know what to do with myself. I think for Lee, sharing some of his similar struggles with Jordy, I think really opened up the communication between you and him.
You learn about Jordy and his challenges, and I look back at myself personally, and I hid it all where he can hide it, and I've had a lot of those challenges, you know, like mental health wise, like it's been some scary things gone through my head in the past I've never shared with anybody, and you know, even her, I kept it from her for quite a while, and you know, just when things get tough, you just think, you know, there's other ways out of this, and it's not the great ways, but you know, like you hear about Jordy when he was 6 and 7, you know, I want to kill myself, you know, like this, and I'm like, I'm not exactly in the shoes he's in, but I know that feeling, and how, you know, and then yeah, to open up to him more about how I struggle with certain things and just don't show it, and then hopefully that helped him.
Really try to give him the most comfortable situation he can be in, because if not, it's just a really hard time for him and my parents too, so they really try their best with him.
Man, there are so many things she helps me out with. I don't think I'd be able to list them.
You know, she commented once, she said, you know, Mom, I will never judge anybody's parenting anymore, because you just don't know what they've been dealt with. You don't know, you know, when you have someone that's so easy and someone that has a little bit more difficulty, you soon learn that something's really going on, you know.
What was really great about Janice, and we certainly supported her, but it was her drive that she knew that Jordy had so much potential that she wasn't willing to say no and sort of just go with, okay, I guess that's the way it is. She started seeking more professional help, and through other resources, and then getting to find out what will help Jordy thrive and be the best he can be, you know. And I think it's just not sort of saying, okay, well, we're stuck with this.
It's definitely important to ask for help. I know for myself and for Jordy, being able to talk to people about it is really important, and asking other people for guidance and for what's worked for them is really, really important, and talking to doctors about it and talking to other support people like my parents or my husband, or even just having somebody to kind of bounce stuff off of who's gone through similar things is very important. I think having a unique situation like Jordy, there was another mom that I knew that her son was going through similar struggles, and when we would get together, it was like we totally got each other, because we had been through similar struggles, and nothing was kind of like outlandish to talk about, because we knew each other, we knew each other's stories, and we could relate to each other.
There's a lesson in that for all of us as any kind of problems, is to hear other people's concerns. Let's hear them out, and then they're okay to hear ours. But it's when you get into that battle of wills sometimes, I think, when things go wrong, and I think it's a model that could just work in so many different situations.
In the beginning, it was really hard for me, because some of Jordy's challenges were hard to understand and are viewed differently in society. So it was really hard for me in the beginning to get over being judged. I felt judged, and I think it was hard, you know, and you want your kid to be this perfect kid, and nobody's perfect, but his challenges made it hard for him to find success in so many areas. Hockey, school, birthday parties, he's never had a sleepover. And so I think it was hard for me to get over that. But now I see that he is a kid who is on his own path, his own journey, and he can help so many people along the way. And I think I've really just decided and learned that he is him, and that that's totally okay, and that he is gonna be just the amazing little person he was meant to be.
I feel like everybody needs a mom like my mom, or just a person just as trustworthy and kind and empathetic as her. She is the best thing that ever happened to me.